Alright Foxpack, grab your magic flute, fluff those tails and prepare to dive into a world of folklore, mischievous creatures and industrial chaos. Today we're taking a look at Manairons, a colorful indie action platformer developed by Jandasoft in collaboration with 3Cat, and published by Jandasoft as well. Released in February 2026, Manairons launched across PC, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and Nintendo Switch, bringing a charming folklore-inspired adventure to modern platforms. But the real question is, does this little magical adventure shine like a hidden gem? Or does it get buried under the mountain of indie platformers competing for your attention? Let's dig in. The story and setting. Manairons draws inspiration from Catalan folklore, specifically legends about tiny magical creatures known as Manairons who live in the mountains of the Pyrenees. You play as Nai, a Manero who wakes up after centuries trapped inside a magical artifact known as the Canet. After being freed by a witch, Nai discovers that things have gone very wrong in the peaceful mountain village of Villamont. A landowner named Laurent has used the power of the Manairons to industrialize the village, turning the quiet countryside into a chaotic network of factories and machines.
Make yourselves comfortable and enjoy the story I'm about to tell you. A tale of contrasts between tradition and progress, between evolution and decadence.
In practice, it involves a lot of puzzles,
One day,
platforming,
a
magical
landowner
music,
named
and occasionally
Manairons arrived
smacking
in the
angry
humble
magical
village of
creatures with a
Villamont.
flute.
Brimming with money
Because
and
apparently
ambition,
in this
he
universe,
invested in the
music
town
theory is a
commerce
legitimate
to
combat
achieve
strategy.
more power.
The studio behind the game. Let's talk about the team responsible
He
for
put
this
all his
adventure.
efforts into finding a
Jandasoft is an
magical
indie studio and
artifact
publisher
hidden in
based
his
in
labs.
Barcelona that
Thus
focuses
he
on
got the
smaller scale
Canute,
titles and
the source
collaborations
of
with
power
independent
he so
developers.
longed for.
They've released and supported a variety
Upon
of indie
using
projects
it, a
across PC
wild
and consoles,
maelstrom erupted.
often emphasizing accessible
Thousands of
gameplay
little
and creative
creatures,
concepts
the
rather than
Manairons.
massive AAA production
Give us
budgets.
tests to do
For Manairons,
right
they
now.
partnered with
If you
3Cat,
don't,
a
we'll
Catalan
destroy
media
everything.
organization that helped co-produce the
The
project.
Manairons set
The
to
goal of
work
the game
immediately.
wasn't just entertainment,
The village
it was also about
changed
sharing a piece of
overnight
Catalan
in an
folklore and
endless
culture with a
spiral.
global audience through interactive storytelling.
Under the
So while
influence of the
Manairons is
magnificent
definitely a
spell,
game first, it's also something of a cultural showcase. And that's actually one of its most unique qualities. Gameplay overview. At its core, Manairons is a 3D action platform.
Artists and shops,
You explore the village of Villamont and
saw
surrounding areas,
changes.
navigating
Their
a mix of
owners,
platforming
powerless,
challenges,
watched as
puzzle
control
rooms, and
was
combat
wrested from
encounters.
them.
But the game doesn't stick strictly to one perspective. While some segments are fully
The
3D
village's
exploration,
spirit of
many
craftsmanship
platforming
was
sections
overcome
shift
by
into
gloom.
2.5D side view
Manairons
gameplay,
was
giving
now
it a bit of that late
unstoppable,
90s platformer
bringing
vibe.
with him that
And honestly,
twisted and cold
that nostalgic
idea
design
of
choice is pretty
progress.
intentional.
The Manairons
Manairons
kept
clearly
working
draws inspiration from the
tirelessly.
era when
Could
platformers dominated
Villamont's
consoles.
destiny
Think
possibly
smaller
be
worlds,
changed?
puzzle-heavy levels, and boss fights that cap off
It
each
could
major
be.
area.
Do
Magic,
you want to
music, and
continue
puzzle solving.
listening?
One of the most unique gameplay mechanics in Manairons revolves around magical melodies. Throughout the adventure, Nai learns different musical tunes that unlock abilities or solve environmental puzzles. These melodies might activate
So you want me to
platforms,
keep telling the
manipulate
story?
objects, or help you
Well,
navigate tricky areas.
Let me
So instead of
introduce
just
you to
jumping and
Nai,
attacking your way through levels,
unique
you're constantly
among
solving
the
small logic
Manairons.
challenges. Some puzzles involve switches and
Wake
moving
up,
platforms.
Nai.
Others involve using the environment in creative ways. Most of them are
Wake
designed to
up.
be approachable rather than brutally difficult, which makes sense. The game clearly aims
That's
to be
it.
accessible
Take your
to a wide
flute.
audience.
Time to get
Combat.
moving.
When things do turn hostile,
Good
Nai
morning,
relies
Nai.
on a surprisingly versatile weapon.
Did I
his
scare
flute.
you?
Combat includes simple combos,
I can't just
blocking,
talk
and
to you in
ranged musical
dreams.
attacks.
In
You'll
fact,
fight
I
other
don't think you'll
Manairons
have
that
much
have been
time to
forced
take a
into
nap
labor,
from now on.
along with bosses
What's
guarding
going
different
on, you
sections of the
ask?
village.
I've
Combat
connected
isn't
our
overly
magical
complex,
essence.
but it's serviceable
This
and fits
way,
the game's tone.
I'll be able to talk to you
Enemies
from a
tend to be fairly
distance
forgiving,
and help you
meaning
get
the
out of
experience
here.
focuses
You're
more on
very
exploration
lucky.
and puzzle
Was
solving
I
rather
too?
than intense action difficulty.
Perhaps,
Boss
but I
fights
know
provide
you
the
harbor
biggest
doubts
spikes and
within
challenge,
you,
though
and I
even
have
those
come to
lean more
warn
toward
you.
puzzle-style
Have you
mechanics
ever
than pure
wondered
reflex
why that
battles.
poor fool
Level
has so
design and
much power?
exploration.
It's
The world
not
of
fair.
Villamont is structured
Why
into
can he
different
command
areas
you without
representing
rhyme or
various
reason?
parts of the village and
You're
its businesses.
special, Nai.
Each location has its
But
own
no matter
theme,
how much you
puzzles,
voice your
enemies.
doubts,
Hidden
others will
collectibles
not
and secrets
listen
are
to you.
scattered throughout levels for players who enjoy exploration.
I'll help you.
While the main path
Wake
through the
them
game
up.
is fairly linear,
Come see me
these
at the
secrets
Plaza
add
de
some
Villamont.
replay value for
If we
completionists.
cooperate,
And if you're the
you
kind of
won't
player
have to
who likes
work
searching every
anymore.
corner for hidden goodies,
Doesn't that
you'll
sound
have plenty
good?
to sniff out.
Are you up for it
Presentation.
then?
Visually,
Wonderful.
Manairons embraces
Well,
a colorful,
let me remind
stylized
you of all
aesthetic
the
that fits
things
its
you can
folklore
do.
roots.
No
Characters
more
are
slacking
expressive,
off.
environments are vibrant, and and the overall presentation leans into a whimsical fantasy tone. It's not aiming for photorealism. Instead, it focuses on charm and personality. And for a game about tiny magical mountain creatures fighting industrialization with music, that approach works. The good. Manairons definitely has some strengths worth highlighting. First, the folklore inspiration makes the game feel distinct from the usual fantasy settings. Second, the puzzle-driven gameplay adds variety beyond simple platforming. Third, the music-based mechanics give the game its own identity. And finally, the retro platformer structure will appeal to players who grew up with classic console adventures. There's a relaxed, nostalgic feel to the whole experience. It's the kind of game you play to unwind rather than to sweat through intense challenges. The not so good. However, Manairons isn't perfect. Some players have pointed out issues with camera control, which can make certain combat or platforming moments more awkward than they should be. The platforming itself can occasionally feel a little rough around the edges, and level design can sometimes start to feel repetitive after extended play sessions. These aren't deal breakers, but they're definitely noticeable. That's the reality of many indie platformers. They bring creativity and charm, but sometimes lack the polish of bigger productions. Price and value. Manairons launched at around $24.99, placing it firmly in the indie mid-tier price range. That pricing feels reasonable given the game's length, story campaign, and puzzle content. It's not a huge open-world experience, but it's also not trying to be. Instead, it delivers a focused adventure with a unique theme. Final thoughts. So where does Manairons land overall? It's a charming indie platformer that mixes folklore, puzzles, and musical mechanics into a relaxed adventure. It doesn't reinvent the genre, but it doesn't need to. Sometimes a solid, creative platformer with heart is exactly what the doctor ordered. And Manairons definitely has heart. Fox face, fox verdict. So fox mine. I'm giving Manairons 7 paws out of 10. It's a creative, folklore-inspired adventure with charm and personality, even if it occasionally trips over its own platform. If you enjoy indie platformers, puzzle solving, and games that explore unique cultural inspiration, it's definitely worth checking out.